you're in bed and you can feel your thoughts starting to fragment. You're just about to step over the edge from wakefulness to sleep, and then suddenly you become aware of that step happening. You've nearly made it. You're nearly asleep, and suddenly you're instantly alert and you've had it snatched away from you. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world, because it's like you were so close. You nearly managed to get and grab hold of what you wanted. And it happened to me all the time when I had insomnia myself. And most frustrating thing in the world. Well, what's happening here, and why didn't it used to happen when you were a good sleeper? Well, imagine a scenario where you're helping a friend move house, and you've just taken a pot and put it in the boot of your car, and you're just going back to the house, and your friend says to you, oh, by the way, Jane, I've got 2 pots. They are incredibly expensive. They're worth 100 grand each, and if you were to break one of them, the whole set's ruined. So, you know, if you are going to carry either of these pots, please be so careful. And you've already carried one pot to the boot of the car, and you did it absolutely fine, but now you've got to carry the other pot, and suddenly you're incredibly anxious, you're incredibly stressed. The desire, the need to not drop that pot and to carry it perfectly has suddenly gone through the roof, because you've raised the stakes of dropping it so high. And that's kind of what is happening with your sleep. So before you had insomnia, you just took it for granted sleep would come. You took it for granted that, you know, you'd go to bed and you would sleep. And on some nights it wouldn't come immediately, but there wasn't that hyper focus, there wasn't that hyper awareness, because the stakes weren't high. You know, sleep was just sleep. It came, you know, as a natural physiological process, and you didn't think about it at all. But when you've got insomnia and you're so desperate to sleep, when you've raised the stakes of sleeping so high, when you've been saying to yourself, if I don't sleep tonight, I'm going to have a dreadful day tomorrow, then suddenly, when you're about to drift off to sleep, the desire and the need basically is what causes that adrenaline rush, that excitement, and what snatches you just from the jaws of actually getting to sleep. And it's, you know, it is a really frustrating thing to happen, and it happens a lot, especially in the early stages when clients are working with me, and they often say, well, how do I get out of this? And if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I absolutely love to lead with behavioural changes rather than leading with thought pattern change. Of course, you need to change your thought patterns in order to sleep, but thought pattern changes, I think, come after behavioural changes. So imagine a scenario where there is a tiger munching on your leg, and you wouldn't be there thinking, oh, it's okay, you know, just accept the fact that there's a tiger on my leg, just be okay with it, change my thoughts around it. It's much better to get that damn tiger off your leg. And so that's why I love leading with behavioural changes. You've probably heard me say it 1,000 times before, the sleep window. The reason why I love to give people that sleep window in the initial instance is because I just want to prove to you that you can sleep. There's nothing wrong with your ability to sleep. There's nothing wrong with your brain. There's nothing broken in your brain. There's nothing wrong with your brain chemistry. I want to give you that psychological leap where you just have 1 or 2 nights where you go to bed, and without this hyper awareness where you've been snatched out of sleep 5 or 6 times, you just go to bed and you sleep like everyone else. That only needs to happen once or twice. And then once you've got that confidence back, once you realise you can sleep, that there's nothing wrong with you, suddenly the obsession, the control, the worry, the hyper focus, the hyper awareness around sleep comes down as well, because you're in bed and you've naturally, through this behavioural change, proven to yourself that you can and you will sleep. And then when you go to bed, suddenly you're far more relaxed when you're in bed. You're not on the lookout for sleep, because that pot which was worth 100 grand, I have to sleep, I have to sleep, I have to sleep, you've proven that you've taken that pot to the car and put it in the boot 100 times already, and that you're not going to drop it. And that's where the confidence comes from. And so that's why I love leading with behavioural changes. Now, there are things you can do in bed which are great for dealing with your thought patterns. Real simple one is repeating the word "the" in your head. You're not fighting with your thoughts, you're not distracting your thoughts, you're not challenging your thoughts, you're not reframing them, you're simply distracting from them. This, you know, can be helpful, but it's quite a reactionary technique which can lead to, you know, more force and control and effort. But really, the sleep window to prove to yourself that you can sleep and therefore lowering mistakes, incredibly helpful. And what I always focus on as well, what you choose to do during the daytime. You know, I say it 1,000 times, insomnia is not tackled at night time, it's tackled the second you wake up. So if you can prove to the brain that you can have a poor night of sleep and, you know, not an amazing day the next day, but an okay day, that you can still get up, you can still meet up with your friends, you can still go to the gym, you can still exercise, you can still go to bed and wake up and feel and have a decent day, suddenly the stakes have been lowered as well. So instead of the brain going, if I don't sleep tonight, I'm gonna have a dreadful day tomorrow, it's, if I don't sleep tonight, it's going to be okay, because I've proven to myself that I can still have an okay day after a poor night of sleep. Again, you've lowered the stakes, you've lowered the desire for sleep, you've lowered the effort, you've lowered the control, and you'll find by doing that, you sleep so much better. So, you know, I'd like to be able to teach you, you know, and be able to say, this is how to stop hyper-awareness. Just say this magic word, or do this breathing technique, or do this magical trick, or try and shift your thought patterns in this way. Lead through behavioural changes, build your sleep drive, build your body clock, prove to yourself that you can sleep from this, and then you will find naturally the thought patterns will start to shift. This is where I lead from. I absolutely love behavioural changes. I just think they're not easy to do, but I think they're easier than changing thought patterns. And thought patterns will follow suit. If you can change your behaviours, the thought patterns, they will come along for the ride as well. I do on my video program have some more tailored techniques which help rewire your brain long term. Things like the thought record, the memento method. So these are written exercises that I include with my program, which you'll find on my website, sleepz.com. So if you're interested in that, do take a look. It's not expensive. It's a step-by-step, week-by-week course, and yeah, probably about 10, 15 different written exercises to change your thought patterns around sleep. But yeah, they're there for you if you need them. And yeah, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.